It's paradise.
The rays are great, barracudas. The colors are amazing, the fish are amazing.
It's awesome. You're literally swimming in an aquarium. It's really cool.
When you go under there, it's immaculate. It looks like a movie. It's really insane what you get to see.
You're flying. Any place you want to go, you're free. You're truly, truly free.
You fall in the water the first time and you see all the way to the bottom in the crystal blue sea. It's a real life-changing event.
How you feel in the water is completely different than on land.
Freedom. I can taste the freedom. There's a door opening and saying, you know, hey, come on in and do what you want. I was diagnosed in 2000. Then they sent me to a MRI. Yeah, they called me up at work and they said, hey, you know, it looks like you have MS. I didn't know what to make of it at that point. I just sat back and I looked at my kids and looked at my life. My mobility has gotten worse in the last 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really bad. Everything that I love, tennis is gone, baseball is, I mean, everything, all the sports are gone until I found diving. All of a sudden, you're not any different than anybody else. And down here, with the people in this organization, you're accepted, everything's opened, and you don't feel like this anymore. You know, whenever you're in here, or the arm braces, or any of that stuff, it's fantastic.
When I heard about Dive Pirates through a friend of mine who went through the program as well, I was like, yes, tell me all about it. Where do I sign up? Yes. I was in a bad motorcycle accident in 2017. Lost my husband in that same accident. I've been trying to stay positive for my kids. They really miss their father, and I've done a lot, you know, to try to stay strong for them and, you know, try to get my abilities back, you know, so I could do things for them. So they're really, really happy for me, and they want to see me happy. So this is a dream come true for me. It's so calming. It's so peaceful. It's a beautiful thing. That's all you're thinking about is just being there underwater. You don't have any worries. You don't have to be tough. You don't have to be strong. You just have to enjoy the view, and it's something that I really, really needed in my life.
I had actually called around Las Vegas to the different dive shops, and they wouldn't touch me. They wouldn't train me because of my injuries. Went through 10 years of just doing typical physical therapy, training, things like that to keep it going, and then eventually the disc finally completely disintegrated. New baseline set and everything, and then I went to a concert. And 20 months ago, the shooting occurred. One of the places that we took cover, some people freaked out, and a whole group of people, and I ended up on the bottom of that pile. And in the process, they damaged the rest of my spine in various places, multiple bulging and herniated discs. I was on the incline after surgery, and now I'm finding myself that I've gone downhill. But in the water, I can actually have a full range of motion. And that's something I didn't expect to have in the last year. We've learned new skills, and especially with my PTSD, it really helps me. In the anxiety, it helps me to control that, not only in the water, but it gives me the skills I need to control it in life itself. Something I always wanted to do, and life just seemed to always get in the way, but since the shooting, I don't wait on anything anymore. Because that made me realize that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen tonight.
I was on a motorcycle. A car turned in front of me. With no time to stop, I T-boned them. And then, from there was life flighted to the nearest hospital. And then they gave me that spinal fusion while I was in there. And then just real slow recovery from then on. It makes a huge difference. I mean, once I get down there, I have control and I'm able to do it, and that's not something that I would have even thought possible.
I had a diving accident. I dove into 18 inches of water and I broke my C7 vertebrae, which is right here. And that was 7 years ago. And I've been active and trying to not let it limit me in my pursuit of life in general. I'm free. I'm not in my wheelchair anymore, and I can move around as I please with other people in the same aspect of it. And you're seeing things that you've never seen before, and it's just it's a beautiful thing.
I was hit by a car when I was crossing the street. My body was thrown 176 feet down the road, and I had a traumatic brain injury, collapsed lung, lacerated bladder, T11 spinal cord, which was obviously the biggest long-term one. I feel like I'll be coming back with, with a little more life back to my everyday, and just kind of like, oh yeah, like I can still have awesome trips and have awesome times. Like, this is exciting, it just makes me more excited about life, really.
I was in a motor vehicle accident 11 days after September 11th. I broke the C6, C7, T1 vertebrae, that's the bone. And now within that, you've got the spinal cord that runs down it. My spinal cord was affected at C6, C7. Technically, that makes me a quadriplegic. I was a full-blown quadriplegic from the beginning. I'm what's known as an incomplete, so within the first 2 years, I've got the amount of function that I have now. It's a huge impact, because when I was laid up in the hospital bed right after my injury, I wondered what my life was going to be like. And I've got to experience many things over the past 18 years I never thought I would have. And this is something that even, trumps a lot of those on many levels. And so you keep broadening your horizons, you keep growing, you keep stretching, you keep seeing what's out there.
I have a T4 spinal cord injury. It happened when I was 17, so 10 years ago. I was real big into football. I probably got looked at by maybe like 6 D1 schools. It was my junior year in school, so I had one more year of football before I would have actually went off to college, but it was definitely in my future. It's a complete shock to your whole life, essentially. Literally every aspect of your life changes overnight. It's easy to think that there's not much out there for you to do, or that you can't do certain things because of your injury. But just about anything, you can work a way around it.
My accident was at 10 o'clock at night. I was on my way to work, and next thing I remember is my head getting jerked back. When I left the road, I flew about 50 feet or so and wrapped around a telephone pole, broke my back in 4 places. Giving somebody an adventure like this, to introduce them to a sport that they can pick up and keep going.
When we get underwater with them, help them to move around and see things that they've never seen, I think it fills out their lives, because if you look around here, they've all got smiles on. And even underwater, they've got smiles on. Underwater they'll tell you, they're equal with us. One guy last trip said this is the only time that he can actually stretch out without sitting in a chair or laying in a bed. He said, he's floating around. He said, I'm just as equal with you.
The resources that Dive Pirates provides are great. Without those resources, I wouldn't be here right now.
Thank you. There's no way I would have been able to do something like this without an organization like that.
Thank you, and a big hug. Fantastic people. Holy cow. To have this available to me that I didn't know existed, is just beyond anything that words can really say.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is truly something I didn't think was going to happen. And it came at a time where I needed a miracle. I really did.
You go out there and you conquer the sea, which encompasses 70% of the earth. That's a pretty big confidence builder.